All right, all right, all right, all right. We're talking about the Xfinity series here. I'm gonna say right now, we can talk F1 later because, as I said, we didn't get qualifying. My thoughts are pretty much the same as it was earlier in the week. For this, I already built all my lines yesterday. So we'll talk about that. We can talk about the Cup Series a little, like whatever you guys just want to talk about later once we get past Xfinity. Feel free to. When we look at the Xfinity Series race, for me, if you're a part of the Discord, I posted my exposures yesterday when I was done, and typically like that isn't like guaranteed in Patreon, but that's just what I do when I have the time to do it. And so for me, answering like the first question from AD here is sure, it's going to be a huge factor. Like the fact that these guys are going on a green racetrack, the fact that a lot of these kids fucking suck, like a lot of these drivers are terrible. Big chance for this race to get stupid in some aspect. We have rain in the area, so we also have to worry about that coming into a factor or being a factor of this being rain shortened, going to another day. A lot of things out there. For me, when I look at Dover, let me move some stuff around here. When I look at Dover, let me bring this up really feast. When I look at Dover for the Xfinity Series race, there is one driver that in my head, I want to focus on due to the fact of what we've seen from him before. And let me bring up one more thing here. And sorry about this. Let me get. Let me. Sorry. I decided to bring something up that I wasn't necessarily thinking of before. I want to go ahead. The driver I'm looking at is Nemechek. Because in my head, even going back, Nemechek has been good at this track. He hasn't had the finishes. So when we look at John Nemechek here in the Xfinity Series, this is a situation like look at these finishes here, which yet again, if you're looking at somebody's sheet, he's kind of failing to update stuff in the past. Or he's kind of failing to update things. Sorry, I'm just kind of rambling here. When we look at Nemechek, look at these finishing positions. I mean, these are situations of where Nemechek, specifically the last 2 years here, when he was in the Sam Hunt car, John Nemechek had the best car in this race. Okay, we reviewed that in 2021. We talked about it in detail entering 2022. When we looked at his race last year, same situation. We'll look at 2021 first. When we look at how he ran, yeah, sure, he had an issue. But he had a lot of fast laps. After starting 32nd, he had driven up through the field. He was running around 8th and 9th just because, green flag runs and stuff like that. Nemechek had a very, very fast car in the Sam Hunt machine. When we look at his race last year in this, he has a brake issue. Nemechek was also fast here as well. Nemechek was flying fast. He was a guy who was up there in the race. When we look at this race and specifically and how Nemechek ran, yeah, sure, he was out in 83 laps. He already had a fast lap, racing with fast guys. It was a situation where Nemechek has just had mechanical failures. I believe that Nemechek is the best play on the slate, not only due to the fact that when we look at how he's performed at this racetrack, it's been good. The results do not show that, but he has been incredibly good at this racetrack. When we look at how he has ran this year already, I mean, I understand we're looking, just at Las Vegas and Fontana, but who's been pretty much who was the best car at Fontana? It was Nemechek. Nemechek was a top 5 contender all day at Las Vegas. Okay, when we look at Nemechek's pricing, when we look at his chance to easily get through the field, yet again going back to we might have, a rain shortened race, whatever the case may be, I think Nemechek should be an absolute priority. I have 100% Nemechek. I have various reasons why. These are just the main points. But when you start looking at things, I see very little reason to not play Nemechek. Same thing with Sammy Smith. When we look at where Sammy Smith is starting, when we look at his pricing, when we look at his upside of what he has shown at racetracks already this season, yeah, sure. 7th best car at Auto Club, 10th best car at Las Vegas. He ends up finishing, 19th and 17th at those races respectively, but he's had good cars in those races. When I look at where I have Sammy Smith projected for, like, I'm not projecting for like this guy to win the race. I'm looking at it realistically. I have Sammy Smith projected to finish 10th today. I haven't even checked for 5th. I don't even have neither of these guys winning the race. I just have them finishing up there based on where these cars are in terms of speed. I understand things get stupid. They get caught up in a wreck early in the race. But for me, Nemechek and Sam Mayer, I'm 100% on. And that's really my stance and where I'm at. I'm playing 20 lines today, so that's 20 lineups with 100% Sammy Smith, 100% Nemechek. I personally don't mind doing that stuff. It's just I've leaned more and more. I know I contradict myself, like, maybe I shouldn't be that high, but look, and certainly after playing more, showdown contests and stuff like that, to where I'm usually overweight on people, I've just gotten way more comfortable with that. So I'm personally 100% on Sammy Smith and Nemechek. I ended up coming in 35% on Timmy Hill, just because I ended up not having to go that far down. And it also depends on what you want to do up front in terms of lap leaders. I think Austin Hill is probably the best contender to lead laps if the Junior Motorsports cars and if the Joe Gibbs cars can't get up there. Creed is also there as well. I have Creed as well. But Austin Hill, a lot of my lineups, if they're not chasing... here, when I look at the builds, I mean, clearly I have 100% Nemechek, 100% Sammy Smith. So when I have... How many lineups is this? When I have 7 lineups, 7 out of my 20 with Austin Hill, you can kind of see where I'm building. Some of those have Creed, some of them don't have Creed, but I think Austin Hill is going to be a contender as well. When we look at how he's ran, he's had the 3rd best car at Fontana, 2nd best car at Las Vegas, and these are the tracks that you have to look at. We've been at some rinky-dink circle tracks, and some circus fests, the past month. Now we're in the month of May with real racing outside of Portland. With real racing, like, this is the best month for NASCAR DFS. I understand it's still April, but you know what I mean. These next, 5 weeks are, the best part of NASCAR up until the playoffs in terms of DFS stuff. So I want to be aggressive. I want to be, I'm going to take stands. If Nemechek, if Sammy Smith wrecks, so be it. I'm looking at the best cars here. When we look at the Junior Motorsports cars, I view them all as the same play. Allgaier, Sam Mayer, Josh Berry. These guys are all the same play to me. I pretty much, look, Allgaier's 18th, Josh Berry's 19th, Sam Mayer's 24th. Sam Mayer is slightly cheaper, has some place differential that the other guys don't have. I just ended up going to Sam Mayer primarily, and very, very little Allgaier. I have no Josh Berry just due to pricing. As I said, I'm paying up for Nemechek, Sammy Smith, Austin Hill, some lines. If it's not going Austin Hill, it's usually, a Sam Mayer line or a Justin Allgaier line, whatever the case may be. I just didn't get to Josh Berry on salary constraints alone. I understand that some people might not like that, but I have them projected all very similar. I just defaulted to the cheapest guy. That's where I'm at in there. As we continue, let me go through the chat, because at this point, everybody else is just kind of filling out my lines. I have quite a lot of, Weatherman. I have quite a lot of, Corey Heim, so on and so forth. Like, you guys, at this point, you kind of already know the lines that I'm running. Let's go ahead and look at the chat. See what you guys are doing here. At least that's where I'm at, Tim. My opinion really hasn't changed. It was just once I started making lines, I didn't end up with nearly as much Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer, Hill as I thought I would. I still have them. I think I have that core in 4, but I just ended up building slightly different once everything was finalized. Once I had projections, things like that. But on Sam Mayer, I'm a big fan of him this weekend. Don't play too much DFS. Just talking about, hey, what's going on, Brandon? Or what's going on, Charles? Happy to have you here. Good luck, everyone. Got caught up at work. Missed. Oh no. Did the $10 fill up? Oh shit! I gotta get into. It did fill up. That's crazy. Okay. I gotta enter NBA stuff and things like that. Today's such a fucking busy day, man. Got the Cup Series stuff, F1 stuff, NBA stuff tonight. I just finished the UFC stuff. We've had a phenomenal. Myself. This month has been incredible. I really hate to say it because it really betrayed me and it really, really hurt my feelings in a lot of ways. But man, honestly, the fact that Pierce really did leave me high and dry, a month ago, I've been laser focused on DFS, and we have had a phenomenal week. I have competed to have duplicated, of course, but I have competed to have the winning lineup in nearly every showdown NBA contest the past week and a half. Sometimes I got in first, sometimes I finished sixth, whatever. We have had a phenomenal week in terms of East. Like, this is just insane. This is an insane month. So that's why my volume is slowly going up and things like that. Anyway, let me continue going through this stuff. Can I play live with no drivers in the top 10? Let me look. I'm pretty sure I might have. Okay, if you include Chandler Smith, I have no lineups that do not have somebody in the top 10. If you take Chandler Smith out, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 of my 20 lines that do not have a driver in the top 9. I have a Kligerman line. I have Creed lines. As I said, Austin Hill lines. I have some. Herbst is also another guy that I kind of got to just based on salary, and he has a chance of just hitting value, not a priority. But yes, there is a real chance in this race, especially if it gets rain shortened, that you don't need the leader. If this race goes to, I don't know when. I mean, clearly halfway is stage or lap 100. I don't know when stage 2 ends. It doesn't really matter for this thing. If it happens, it happens, whatever the case may be. But if we run 135 laps in this race, and your leader is somebody, I have no Cole Custer. Just didn't get to him based on projections when I was building lines. I have no Cole Custer. This is not me jumping back of like, wow, I've been absolutely destroyed by Custer the past every race this year at Xfinity. That's not that. Just based, I like other guys more. I had them projected more, so on and so forth. But depending on who the lap leader is, and I think it switches quite a lot in this race. Like, look, competition caution is lap 20. We probably have a yellow before the competition caution, so we're gonna lose probably. I'm gonna say 6 to 8 laps in that range around the competition caution. It might be a bit less, but the fucking NASCAR takes forever to restack the field. We lose at least, let's say we lose at least 6 laps there. So we're on lap 25. We've probably only gotten 18 laps that had a fast lap at that point. We probably have another yellow, so on and so forth. So if we run 135 laps, we probably lose 22, 27, if not more laps in terms of losing a fast lap, being able to be given out to somebody. So just a leader getting laps led and stuff. Well, when you have all these place differential guys, even Barry Allgaier, Nemechek, Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer, Chandler Smith, Riley Herbst, Ryan Truex, Derek Kraus, some people I don't even have. I'm just saying, if they move up 6 positions, you are outscoring the lap leader. Now, I'm not saying I want to completely build that way. As I said, I only have 7 lines that don't have somebody in the top 9, and that's primarily focusing on people that I think will get through the field and be able to outscore, if Kligerman, if he scores some, whatever, if he falls back. That's also if the leader, if he leads laps, and then he falls back to 7, I mean, that just negates all the laps led and stuff that he gets, and there's a real chance that the early lap leader isn't optimal. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I just kind of went on a tangent there. Yeah, Shell Goat Creed. Yeah. I mean, it's either until somebody wrecks him or he wrecks himself, man. But yeah, I mean, RCR is here to compete as well. And that's why, I couldn't get to Custer, man. I could see so many different avenues for people to get through, and Custer has absolutely struggled in traffic. I don't know if it's him mentally. I don't know if it's whatever the case may be, but he's been terrible in traffic. He's been getting stuck in traffic. And you want to talk about dirty air? You want to talk about not being able to pass? Look, I love Dover. People are going to be like, oh, there's not side-by-side racing. You can't race here. Get the fuck out of here. Racing isn't always side-by-side. Like Indianapolis, the Brickyard, awesome racetrack. There's no passing. Yeah, racing is boring sometimes. Go back to the oval. You know, let's go back to the Brickyard 400. Dover. We're not gonna see a lot of passing, but my God, this track fucking rules. Anyway, Dirty Air, huge thing. I see Custer just struggling today, man. If he's gonna get stuck around like sixth. Yeah, you know, he's been in way better situations with way better stuff pointing to play him this year alone, and it just hasn't worked out. I just couldn't get to Custer. What's going on, Kanams? I hope I say that correctly every time. I'm running both earlier this week and today's info. Yeah. And really, the early info, it really hasn't changed a lot. I've just kind of finalized things there today. Yeah. Well, so how's NASCAR going to handle that? You can't wall ride. Like, I can't wait to see, somebody, truly run the gray area at Darlington to win the race. That's going to be interesting. NHA playoffs are money. Dude, that shit is so small, man. I don't know why DraftKings don't have bigger contests for NHL. I don't understand it. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs, and today's is 2,300. Like, this is like an esport. What is going on? I know there's more people who would play NHL because this stuff fills up way before it. Whatever. What's going on, Jake? I have a lineup with all drivers 18 30 back. That's man. So all 18. That. Let me look. So you clearly have Hill in that line. I don't know, man. I don't think it's a waste. I think it's certainly like if there's ever a weekend that is probably more viable to cash, I don't think that's a top 2% line. Maybe. I don't know. Typically I try and hope that my lines finish at least top 2, top 5% of contests and stuff, because your top 20 you're cashing. Like, I think that line's going to cash. Do I think it can compete to win real money? Because I'm assuming you have Barry, Nemechek, Smith, Allgaier. If you don't have one of those guys, you probably have Sam Mayer in it. Whatever the case may be, all those drivers should be in the top 13 in this race. So that alone will put you at least top 10 percentile of the contest. And if you get, so I don't think it's a waste of a line. I would run it. I'm not going to talk you out of that just due to the fact that it's Dover. We probably have a high likelihood of wrecks today. We also have rain in the area. I say rock and roll that bitch, man. Throw her in there. I'm not going to talk you out of it here. I think that is I think this race, I think this race has the potential to make that lineup viable. I think you're going to cash for sure. I'm not sure how high it's going to get if it nails the eventual winner of the race. Hopefully it's Nemechek. If it nails that, or regardless, Barry, Allgaier, or whatever, I think you can very easily compete with that lineup. I don't think that's a waste today, just due to the nature of this race. So I'm glad that you brought that up. What is NHL? Never, yeah. Jeff at NBA. So no, I don't cover these sports, man. You want to know how I do NBA? I don't fucking look at the names. I am not looking at names. I'm not even looking at projections. Same way, that's why I want to talk about like F1 today. It's not even like I don't have a core. I don't have anything. I'm just throwing in, 20, 22 lines. 12. I've done 12 the last couple nights, and it's usually hit it pretty good. Like tonight, for example. We'll talk real fast. I haven't even looked at the fucking slate yet. Here, you want a tip of what I've been doing? Don't play the 20 today. I know some of you guys might be locked out or not able to play it, but like for me, I'm sorry, we're going on this quick tangent. What I'm going to do today for NBA is probably play 12 to 20 line, probably 12, because that usually it'll probably end up right at like $300. 12 in the 4, 12 in the 6, 12 in the 8, 12 in the 5, and call it there. Looking at this really fast, we'll probably have I usually do 3 lines in general with just a value captain. But typically, because it's the playoffs, everybody plays. That's also why another reason why I like NBA playoffs. Very similar to esports, like NBA, especially here in a game that's 3-2 with a decider. It sucks that Memphis got fucking blown out last night, but both teams are going to play everybody 100%. So you really have like 12 guys who are going to be on the field or on the court or whatever. Just look at projections, whoever you use, and just play the higher projected guys in different combinations. That's literally my advice. Don't be like, how much Joker are you going to have in the captain? I have no fucking idea. Probably going to be 30% my captain, whatever. I don't really know. I'm just playing. I'm just trying to jam in as many high projected guys as possible. That's my NBA advice. That's why I don't cover that stuff. Prize picks. Guys, I'm just going to lose you fucking money on prize picks, man. I think every time somebody's asked me this year, the fucking thing I haven't cashed, man. I'm so tilted. I was so pissed at Talladega. Oh, man. I would have had more fun just taking $200 and setting it on fire in the middle of like a public restaurant. None of those guys hit. I couldn't believe it. I was so pissed. It was like Chastain over 3.5 fast laps. Couldn't fucking get on a fucking plate race, man. I couldn't get it. My advice to you is never ask me prize picks, okay? I even went ahead and fucking uninstalled that shit on my phone. I was like, dude, this is just, I'm fucking wasting my time looking at this shit. So I don't even bother looking at that anymore. That's a fucking disaster, man. Don't ask me about props. Don't ask me about prize picks. Any advice would be better than mine. I wouldn't fucking do that, man. Draza Caruth, just trash. What a question. That is, he has a lot of pressure on him to run through this stuff very quickly. He has made a lot of mistakes. He has had races where he has run extremely well. He just needs to learn. He needs experience. He is being pushed up too quickly. And he's with bad... Alpha Beta Prime is just a fucking terrible team. I would not want to go through that rigmarole of being with that team, and so on and so forth. Rudge Caruth for DFS today. I did not get to him. I would much rather play Corey Heim. I'd much rather play Kyle Weatherman. Kyle Weatherman should be, theoretically... Let me look real fast. Weatherman should be a lock. He really should. Outside of a wreck, mechanical failure, Weatherman should finish top 20 today. Easily. You know, so I like Weatherman. I don't have him 100%. I don't want to get that fucking nuts. 100% Nemechek, 100% Sammy Smith. Mainly just filling in stuff there, but my third highest owned driver today is Kyle Weatherman. Let's see. Ryan Sieg, I just didn't get him. If you'd like Sieg, I think you would... let me look real fast. If you like Ryan Sieg, I would highly encourage you to pay up for Riley Herbst. Or just Sammy Smith. I assume you already have Sammy Smith. Like, why? Who in the 8K range are we fucking playing? The only 8K guys that are viable today is Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith, and Herbst. And Herbst is very much at the bottom. Well, Creed too, but those guys are very much at the bottom. You're building with those guys in mind when you build those lines for those specific events. There's no reason to play Sieg today. That's where I'm at. What's going on, Eagles? Doing well. Just kind of goofing around with you guys, having some fun on this Saturday. 79 of you guys here. Thank you very much. Are you doing any lives with you guys starting in the top 10? No. No. I am not. I have pretty much discussed everything related to what I'm doing for the race today. We've been live for around 27 minutes, so at this point, we still got time. Or you still got time. If you are just hopping in now, you can throw it on 2x. We got, man, it's going to be close. We got 32 minutes until the race locks, or until the slate locks. I go back, listen to this on 2x. I mean, I always go over my entry stuff, like, right off the bat in there. Let's go ahead and talk about F1, because that's what I was goofing around with to begin with. Here, I hate to do this, and this is not necessarily, look at how I've been doing. This is, I want to show you my approach of what I'm doing in F1, and I'm very hesitant to approach this way because this race is going to have a lot of DNFs. Like, I have 12 lineups so far. I'm sorry. So the last two races for F1, where we had, I forgot what it was. The race before the Australian one. Did I win that one? I think I won it, or I finished third or whatever. I only had 2 lines in it. The previous F1 race was this one at Australia, which that was a whole debacle. Anyway, I entered this one twice. I like this line the most. However, when I look at how I built lines, and this is a great example of what I do, because I think the F1 race tomorrow is very wide open. Okay, we have a very high DNF rate. We had, true carnage in both the sprint qualifying and the shootout, whatever the fuck they're calling it today. We had a lot of carnage in that. We have very tight racing quarters. Okay, and so just very quickly, this is when F1, I like entering a lot of lineups when I think the race is going to go green. If I think it's going to be ugly, I'm going to lean to not entering a lot of lineups. So for tomorrow's morning's race, I haven't decided how many laps I'm going to do. Oh, anyway, so the reason, like, when you look at what I'm doing, I'm typically playing guys that I think are going to be optimal in general. Like, Max Verstappen is just fucking 100% of Max. And I just absolutely just not even bothering to look at projections. I'm just filling in different constructions and different lineups and different builds and bullshit like that and stuff. There's a real chance that it's either like a Leclerc captain tomorrow or a value captain being optimal. Because we're going to have at least 4 cars DNF, okay? So that's 4. Here, fuck it. Let's go here. This is why I don't like talking about F1 anymore, because it gets very boring. I'm not giving picks. It just, anything can happen. So when we look at these guys here, I believe that one of the Haas guys is optimal. One of the AlphaTauri guys is optimal. Okay? Which one doesn't matter. I just think it's one of those guys you're going to have to build to land on. I would lean to Tsunoda, and I rewatched Sprint Race, but I need to watch it again to make sure where these guys finished and stuff, because clearly that's a great example. That's a great tell of where these guys are going to be in terms of speed tomorrow. That's why, like, it's very much up top, like who's going to win. It's very open between Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc. We might have Hamilton get in there, but I don't think so. I think the 3 guys going to compete for a win are the 2 Red Bull and Leclerc guys, unless one of those guys gets in a wreck, because fucking Leclerc put himself in the fucking fence today when he had the fucking best car, and so that's wide open. This is a rough one, man. It's very, very wide open. So, okay, I'm just going to use these 2 guys for an example. Just in general, it doesn't matter. It's just building and stuff. When we build like this, it gets, very, very tricky. I mean, this is literally what you do for F1. You most likely find the constructor you want to be on, and we can flop that between Ferrari and stuff. It's just this is so fucking it's not fun to build. It's so boring. It's boring as fuck to talk about. We got 4,400 left. Well, It's okay, DraftKings. It's not very fun. You know, my pool is very limited. I'm not playing another AlphaTauri. I'm not playing another fucking Haas car. You know, and so in terms of who we can realistically play with like $4,400, you can cover these positions with like 4 or 5 lineups. Okay, so talking captain is probably the most important thing tomorrow. I believe right now it's either Verstappen, Perez. It's honestly even Sainz. Like if Leclerc wrecks out, Sainz is probably going to finish third tomorrow. But there's a real chance the captain tomorrow is a cheaper captain, either Leclerc or whoever back here, which I haven't done my projections yet, and I don't think it's going to be there. Like Zhao can appear to be optimal. I think he was this last time, right? Yeah, so we had 11 points. Like, there's a real chance that like somebody like Zhao, even Bottas, can be optimal with the amount of carnage that this. Actually, let me change. Let me back up again. There's a real chance the optimal might not even play tomorrow. Or you can get really fucking stupid, because if we have carnage up in the front in this race, like if guys running from like 6th to 7th, 6th to 10th get involved in wrecks, we got a real chance of a lot of these guys outside the teams and a lot of people in the 5 and 4K range getting into the points. And then it's just whoever beats team. Like this is, man, this F1. This isn't helping anybody. This is why I don't talk about F1. I tried. I was like, no, maybe we can talk about it. It's fucking, no, that was a waste of time. I'm so sorry. We got any more questions related to NASCAR? We got any more questions related to anything else? Anything else we want to talk about? Like and Ryan Truex Day, I have 0 Ryan Truex. How would you rank Parsons, Hill, Chad, Chastain? Hill, Parsons, Chastain. In that order, I have all 3 of them. Kligerman, I have 1 Kligerman lineup. That's it. So, yet again, related to the finish at Talladega, I would implore you to... Here, we'll talk about this again here. Because Stukas is very, very helpful and stuff in finishing things. So, like, you need to be aware of what all happens in general here. So, we even went over, and this is... like lineups if they didn't have the red flag and stuff. I talked about this in my lineup. I think I forgot what lineup I did it in. So like if we don't have that yellow, you need to be aware of what the optimal is, where it pans out and stuff. So I tied for 5th. And this is where this has very much affected me, but like I said, you gotta not have worries there. If they finish where the last red flag was, it goes here, and so you have you have very, very low owned guys, which I would honestly, when we're looking at tomorrow's morning's race, building very off the wall lineups make a lot of sense. It really, really does tomorrow, because there's a lot of carnage, and you can look specifically at like who would make profit as well. Where you would be at, you have, hey, here I am, just competing in general. But, man, when you get to here, F1 is so fucking brutal. I don't know how people max enter this stuff. Because it's even worse than, like, showdown lines. Because and granted, all these are hypotheticals outside of the one that finished, but, like, You can't, especially in a race like this, you can't enter. You can't, like it doesn't really matter. But like whatever this one is, I entered 22 lines. If the race plays out like this, I only make $101. Like you cannot make money in F1 unless you hit the optimal. It is so fucking rough. And this is the one where like, if Sainz doesn't leave that position, I make the most money of anybody on the slate in the Australian race. But these are such F1 is such a fucking stupid ass contest. It's such a stupid scoring system. It's so stupid. I honestly don't know how you make money. Clearly I have and stuff, but max enter, you can't. F1 is not sustainable to max enter unless it's wild fucking lineups like this. These are all hypotheticals based on how it finished last week. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? So a race like this tomorrow, I think you just do. I think you do 5 lines and just kind of have them all be crazy in some aspect, because a lot of things are up in the air tomorrow, so on and so forth. Anyway, F1. Anyway, yeah, my tangent related to this in the finishing order related to Talladega this last weekend for NASCAR. Be aware and identify that. Just look at that as 2 different races. Understand the different ways that each race ends up being scored, regardless if it is or isn't. I think it's a great example to look at how different races and different builds and stuff square away and stuff. Like that's a real takeaway. Not bitching that fucking DK assist of like, oh, you guys didn't pay out correctly. Oh, finishing order is wrong. Like you're not gonna do anything, okay? You're not gonna sue, because you're gonna lose your ass and lawyer fees. Like unless you win, unless you were the only guy who has a room to complain is the guy who possibly could win money, and even then, I mean, kind of fucking sucks, bro. Like, what do you want me to do about it? What do you want us to do about it? You guys want DraftKings to pay out even longer? Dude, FanDuel takes 3 trips around the sun to pay out to your account, and then 2 more to get to your bank account. Like, DraftKings is awesome. Are you kidding me? I love that DraftKings pays out fast. I love that they send you your money fast. They don't fuck around. Like, you guys want to mess around with that? Like, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? Yeah, Ferrari has no race pace. I mean, but man, Leclerc's price is certainly there. It's a pain, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's why I was literally just messing around with that about an hour before this live show. I still don't know how I want to go about it. Let's see. Yo, what's up, Clutch? Weather's looking iffy. I don't know. Just we have weather in the area this whole weekend. Corey Hyman's autoplay. I don't think so. You have to build with him in mind. He's as weird as it sounds. You have to build with Corey Hyman in mind in those lineups, because if you're not going to have the salary for him. How much Corey I have? 45%. And that is, I think we've talked about everything at this point. Talk a little about F1, talk a little about the race. The race is gonna, or at least the slate is gonna lock. I don't even know if they're starting soon. I finally got Hulu Live TV. Okay, it's been a long time, but I was like, dude, I'm getting tired of watching these fucking NBA games on my fucking streams that are like 2 minutes behind. This is not. I'm not enjoying this at all. So I end up getting that. So which, dude, that's ridiculous. $83. Man, fuck you, Hulu. I remember that shit was $45. That's why I haven't had the Hulu Live in a long time, and I'm not gonna have it once the NBA playoffs are over. Either way, 19 minutes till the slate locks. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Whenever the F1 race is over, that's when I'll go live, and we'll talk Dover Cup Series stuff. So thank you guys very much for watching today. Best of luck. Hope you guys can win some money. And just enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully enjoy the end of April, however you guys want to look at it.